Welcome into the Mountain Valley News Pigskin Preview, Week 3. Sammy?
Hey, it's been a great week of football. It's like the first, whatever, 0, 1, 2. I don't know, but anyway.
0. I'm out on 0.
You know,
we won't even talk about that one. But
we're learning a little bit more about the teams, and we still have a lot of surprises going on, too.
Oh, man, I tell you what, none bigger than Fort Payne defeating the Albertville Aggies, in my opinion.
A big surprise. You know, it doesn't matter what I do. If I pick Fort Payne, they're going to lose. If I picked against them, they scored 28 points in the first half and shut out Albertville the first half.
I know. Man, that was a crazy football game, and we didn't get there till halftime, and I hadn't even looked at the scoreboard because I don't know what I was thinking, but the band was playing, Albertville's band, which is really good. And so then I finally glanced at the scoreboard, and it was 28-0. I thought, really? And so then we walked down on the field, and of course, assistant coach Todd Phillips walks onto the field, and his first comment to me was, "Hey, you guys just keep picking like you're picking every week. We're liking it."
Yeah, I got a message sometime from somebody there. And
so, Todd, after a while, you'll see what I did. So I'm not telling you yet. So if you're watching this, you'll get to figure out if I picked Fort Payne or whoever this week. But, man, that was a great football game. And, Fort Payne, talking to Todd, and I need to mention this, he said in the first 2 games they had, on and off 10 players out hurt.
Yeah, they had a lot of skill people. Their best players, some of the best players were out.
Penn Holster had a great game, Matthew Shaddix, and then also the Winchester kid who kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then Brian Jordan, the quarterback. Is that right?
Bain.
I don't know where I'm getting Jordan at.
He had a good game also. And
Jordan Bain, Jordan Bain, that's what it is. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
He's got a good running game, and when Bain's on too with those receivers, Shaddix and Carter Penholster.
Oh, yeah.
They were hard to control. They had everybody healthy. They were looking good.
Yeah, Bain passed for 195 yards in that game. And, he's a good-looking kid. I didn't really know him, but, he's tall and lanky and a very good-looking athlete. So, Fort Payne, a big win for them, and they were the Mountain Valley News Team of the Week this week. And so, congratulations to them. And, they have to travel over this week to May Jimson, and that'll be another tough football game for them as they're on the road this week. So we'll see how that shakes out. Valley Head, talk a little bit about Valley Head. Won their first football game. Coach Heath Vinson got his first win the week before, and they faced a good Decatur Heritage Christian Academy. And I picked Valley Head. And
I had looked at it, and I saw Decatur Heritage had a good year last year. I wasn't sure how good they were this year, but it's carried over, and they're doing pretty good this year too.
Yeah, they're 3-0, and they won that game. It was 35-13.
I think Valley Head got somebody injured too, and when you
in the
Valley
first
Head
game,
and you get one of your good players injured,
it
really does take a toll on you.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Heath, and that's the one thing he said: we can't afford to lose any skilled players.
Right.
And, he lost a receiver to a broken wrist the week before. But, man, I got to spend a little time up there at that game, and right before half, they had a receiver wide open. He lays out for the ball, and it just goes off the fingertips. Or, you never know what those kind of touchdowns, because at that point it was 21-7.
Right.
And so you never know, like, making that catch, what that could do for you. But, they have to travel to Falkville this week, so it'll be a tough road game for them. And so hopefully they can come back with a victory, and we'll see how that shakes out. Next game we'll talk about Ider and Sandrock. And, man, that was a great football game. Sandrock won that game 12-7. And, really closer than I thought it might be.
It was closer than I thought it might be, too. But Ider is tough, and they're tough. They're always tough. Coach Tinker's always got them playing tough, and they've got – the Higdon kid's good, and they've got a few more players. They really played hard against Sandrock.
Higdon's probably one of the best running backs in the county, and first time he touched the ball Friday night, he went 40 yards with it. So
they had a chance at any time to come back and win that game, and almost did.
Yeah.
So
they'll get better.
They played really tough, and a good Sandrock team.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Ider has to travel over to section this week, and that is a great matchup, and we'll talk about that a little later. But I think Ider has a chance of winning that football game. Then we'll talk about, let's talk a little bit about Plainview. Had to travel down to Geraldine, and man, I tell you what, the Plainview Bears are snake bit. I mean, they're so beat up, and lost another couple of players on Friday night. I know they lost one for the season. linebacker who tore his ACL and will be out for the rest of the year. And, man, you can't. There's just so many players you can lose.
That's one of those things where I said last week, Plainview has a few good things happen early. They'll have a good game and have a good chance to beat Geraldine. And everything bad happened early. So if everything bad happens early when a team is struggling like Plainview is right now, it really gets them down.
You look at that football game with under 2 minutes anyway. That game was actually a 14-7 game. Mm-hmm. And you felt like, hey, if you go in at halftime down 14-7, you got a chance of winning the game. Geraldine drives down, scores with just a few seconds left in the half, goes up 21-7. I felt like that was a big momentum change probably for this, especially when you're a young football team like Plainview. A lot of those players, first time to be out on the field, and that something like a drive like that will really take the wind out of you.
And you lose two of your top tacklers.
Oh, absolutely.
Those two injuries were the two top defensive tacklers probably.
Yeah.
That really took sales out.
Plainview
in the second half.
Yeah, Plainview finally gets to play at home this week for the first time this year, but they're facing a Susan Moore team who is pretty good.
Yeah, tough Susan Moore team. Yeah.
So Susan Moore defeated Sylvania last week, and that score was 28-21. And that was a good football game. That thing stayed tied till late in the game. They had about a 30-45 minute lightning delay and had to go in the locker room, came back out, and Susan Moore was able to get the ball, drive it down the field, and score and win that game 28-21. So tough loss. Sylvania kind of in the same boat that Plainview's in right now. A lot of injuries.
Again, one of their main running backs in that game broke his leg, and you have an injury like that, especially you going in, you got a delay. I mean, it seems like bad things are happening to these teams like Plainview and Sylvania, the ones that lost this week, and you got to have a few good things, and that turns everything around, gets you positive. The motivation totally changes, if you have a few positive things. Things bad just keep happening. It's hard. It's hard to keep being motivated, And
very hard to stay motivated when your players are dropping out like flies.
Yes,
I tell you,
exactly.
Tough loss for Sylvania and Plainview both. But they're going to keep working hard. I know the coaches as well, and they'll work hard, and they'll continue to get better. And some of these younger players now they get an opportunity to step up and make some noise here.
That's right.
So we'll see how that shakes out. Fife, we talked a little bit about this last week, and we felt like Section, was a better football team and could hang with Fife for a little while. Well, we were wrong.
Yeah, well, it's not the first time I've been wrong this year. Section played hard the whole game.
They did.
They were just outmanned by Fife.
Oh, absolutely. Fife wins that game 56-0. Peyton Anderson had a great game, and he is the Mountain Valley News Player of the Week. He rushed for over 200 yards in that football game, and he is a man among boys.
He is tough.
He is tough. He's big and he's fast, and we talk a lot about him on his offensive skills, but he probably really is a better defensive player than he is offensive player.
He's a good defensive player. He's smooth. On offense, running the ball, he's really smooth. On defense, it's like he's effortless out there, but he's doing, he's putting in effort, but it don't look like it. It's so smooth.
Yeah. Next game we'll talk, Pisgah Eagles. They travel. Did they play Brindley Mountain at home, or was that
a road game? I believe.
I think it was a road game, but didn't matter.
Yeah.
Coach Luke Pruitt gets his second win, and starting out 2-0 up at Pisgah, and has an opportunity this week to get his third win. But they put a pretty good whipping on this Brindley Mountain. That game was over at halftime. They scored 47 points in the first, or 49 points in the first half.
Yeah.
And then the second half, they just ran the clock.
Right.
And tried
that's one of those teams that started out with a new coach and some young players. They lost a lot of seniors, and it's one of those things where I know I keep harping on it, but, you have some good things happen. Well, Pisgah's had some good things happen a couple of weeks, and they won big.
Oh, yeah.
He's got them playing good. They believe in Coach Pruitt. He's working hard. That's all the difference in the world. When you have a few good things happen, everything turns positive, and it makes a big difference.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll talk about the Crossville Lions, faced the phenomenal Etowah
Yes.
team, and Etowah just had their way with them. After I started reading about that game, and it seemed like they were just scoring at will. They run 2 kickoffs back for touchdowns. They had 2 punts run back for touchdowns, and they had a couple of long passes for touchdowns and a couple of long drives for touchdowns. They win that game. I think it wound up being 52-7.
Etowah is one of the top-ranked 5A teams in the state, and there's a reason they're loaded with talent.
Oh yeah, they really are. So tough night for Crossville. They face Douglas this week, which probably is a winnable game for them. Yeah. An opportunity for them to get a win, and we'll see how that shakes out. And then last game before I talk about this game, we'll talk about one more. Talk about Cornerstone Christian Academy. They traveled down and played, and man, I hate this. I should have wrote it down who they played, but they had another really competitive football game. It wound up being, I think, a 36-28 football game, and they had the lead up till late in the fourth quarter, and the team scored 2 quick touchdowns and wound up beating them. But Coach Dennis Mays is doing a good job up there.
Yeah, they're doing good. They're first year. None of these kids has played.
Right.
So they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, got some good athletes on there. The Johnson kid is a very good player. Lane Fortner has played well for them. So, if you hadn't seen 6-man football, get the opportunity to go up and watch it. It's really fun to watch.
You're looking at that score, and that was actually probably a low score.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure
That's
it was.
a defensive game.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. But I know Coach Dennis Mays has done a great job there. He is a former Pisgah All-State quarterback.
Exactly.
I think I'm right to say that, back in the Dale Pruitt era. So, he's doing a great job there, and I know they're excited about where they're at. Probably not what he would like to have. I'm sure he'd rather have 2 wins right now, but very competitive, and they're getting better every week. So we'll see how that shakes out. But the last game we want to talk about was the Mountain Valley News. It was the game of the week. We talked about this last week. Collinsville traveled up to North Sand Mountain, and we felt like this would be a really good game.
Yep.
And it was a really good game.
Yep, it filled out the bill that we presented for it. You go to overtime game. North Sand Mountain misses an extra point in regulation to win this game.
Yeah, Collinsville takes it. Collinsville gets on them 12-0.
Yeah.
And North Sand Mountain comes back, ties that game up. Like you said, opportunity to win the game with their extra point and miss it.
Yes.
And then. And my understanding was that the Perez kid maybe missed a few.
He missed some
field
extra
goals
points. In the game.
Some things the opportunities. And man, he's a great kicker.
Yeah.
But they got to overtime. North Sand Mountain has the ball first, and of course they're a great quarterback, and he's done a phenomenal job, Landon Green, and he throws one, and the Caleb Jones, who is the great athlete for Collinsville, picks it off.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they just rely on their kicker from that point, and he kicks the field goal, and they win that thing 15-12. But, man, that was a great football game.
As a fan looking at the game, not being for either team, is watching the game, that's as good as it gets right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Great games.
Absolutely. Well, that's a lot about what happened last week. I know we went through that really quick, but we want to talk about this week's games, and then at the end we're going to go through the picks and see what we think. But, the first game, we got Valley Head traveling over to Falkville. Valley Head comes in again, lost last week to a good Decatur Heritage, but, best receiver is hurt. But I tell you what, the Valley Head team, to me, they're big. They've got some big kids. Very surprised how big they were. Talking to the coach, and, he was telling me, he said, really, we've got more big offensive line type players than we do skilled people. He said, if I had a few more skilled people, it would really help. Again, a school like that, like you said, you can't afford many injuries.
Right, exactly. And they're going to play a Falkville team over there. We've played there, or Plainview has played there before when they were a 3A team. Then they went down to 2A. Now I think they're dropped down to 1A.
1A, I think that is correct.
And, so they're going to have some good players. They've got,
I think it'll be a great football game, and this Valley Head team, they'll be competitive every week as long as they can stay healthy. Right. They can't afford to get a lot of people hurt, but they'll be very competitive in this game, and I look for Valley Head to have a good game, and hopefully they can pull out a victory. We'll see how that shakes out. Next game we'll talk about Sylvania travels to Gaston. Gaston, this is a non-area or a non-region game for Sylvania. And, again, Sylvania, their best running back, Shavers, is not healthy from his injury last year. And then the other really good running back they had, the Wooden kid?
Will Banks.
Will Banks, Will Banks got his leg broke. So,
so they're down to I guess the 9th grade Anderson boy.
Yes.
He's a good running back.
Absolutely. Garth Anderson. He
9th or 10th grade, but he's young, but he's going to be a good one.
Yeah, he had some good runs. I noticed in their game against Susan Moore, he ran a 55-yard touchdown in that game. And so this Sylvania team, they've got an opportunity to get their first win, actually, of the season as they travel down to Gaston. I don't know a lot about Gaston, but
they're never a pushover.
Absolutely
Gaston's
not.
well coached, and they've had athletes over the years. Been in the playoffs, and almost to the finals a few years. I watched them play some back in the old days. I actually watched them play Hazelwood back in the old days.
Oh, really?
And it was a really good game, and that was when Hazelwood was loaded. Had Langham and the Lynch, as their backs, and they were loaded in it. Gaston competed with them, but they, they're not that good this year, maybe, but they always
have some good.
They always have some good athletes.
Oh, absolutely. So good opportunity for Sylvania to get that first win this year, and we'll make those picks in a moment. The next game again, we got Crossville. Douglas will be traveling up to Crossville, and Douglas has been a struggling team for a few years, and of course Crossville had one of their better seasons last year. Coach Holcomb did a great job there. He moved on, I think, as an assistant at Hoover this year. Is that right?
That's right.
And Coach Dusty Darnell took over that program. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
And but they're very young. They lost a lot of their skilled players last year. Jay Luther probably is the returner they have that's that's got a lot of experience, and so hopefully they can be competitive against a Douglas football team.
Yeah, I think they've got a shot to be in this game. I've looked at Douglas, who they've played, and they have played some 4A schools. But now you look at Crossville, who they've played a really tough schedule.
Oh, absolutely.
Some really good teams.
Yeah, you just looking, Geraldine is not a big. Right, of course, we know Plainview knows well how they are.
Yeah.
Collinsville. One of the better teams in DeKalb County
and then
this year.
They played Etowah, so they've had a tough schedule. So this is a chance.
They've got
a really good shot at this one. I think.
Absolutely. I'd like to see Crossville get that first win this week, and hopefully they can pull that off. And then the next game is going to be a great football game. It's the Mountain Valley News Game of the Week. You've got Fife traveling to Collinsville. Both teams coming off big wins. Probably. Of course, then you hate to speculate, but since we're not coaching, we get to speculate.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Winner of this game takes a big step in that region, in my opinion.
It really is to be the leader in the region. Well, if Collinsville beats Fife, they will probably be the region champs.
Oh, no doubt about it.
North Sand.
Yeah.
If Fife beats Collinsville, they still got to play North Sand.
Sure.
Yeah. But this is probably as close to a region championship early in the season as you can get right here.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And that's going to be a great football game. If you're going down to Collinsville, you better get there early because I think there'll be a huge crowd there. For Collinsville, I feel like to win this football game, they've got to stop Anderson.
I think you're right. Yeah, stop or slow Anderson down.
Slow him down. I don't know if there's anything.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can stop him, but they need to slow him down. And Collinsville has great athletes. Caleb Jones is as good an athlete as anybody in DeKalb County.
And they have the big line. Collinsville has a big offensive line.
Oh, they absolutely do.
I think they're going to have to limit Fife's offense. Just keep the ball a lot, try to get long drives and score when they do get the long drives, and try to keep Fife's offense off the field. If they do those things, they'll have a chance to win.
Yeah, talk about they got the McKinney boy who has got some speed and can get on the outside, and then they got the Barkley kid who is a big kid.
Yeah.
Big kid, big bruiser running the ball. So if they could control the line of scrimmage, I think you're exactly right. They have a chance of winning this football game. For Fife, I think it's just do what Fife does best.
Yeah.
They run their offense, they control the clock, they play great defense, and they wear you down.
They don't make mistakes.
They don't make mistakes. They wear you down. And the thing that surprises me for several years now, Fife usually, if you go back historically and look at their first half, they don't have a huge lead at halftime against many people.
Right.
It's a very close game, but when they come back out second half, they make great adjustments at halftime. And they come out and just wear you out in the second half.
Coach Benefield's really good at making adjustments at halftime and getting them ready to play the second half. And that's what you look at. They come out the second half and most of the time they blow people out, even if it's a 14-7 game at halftime or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be a great football game down at Collinsville on Friday night. And, if you guys haven't got anywhere to go and want to see a great football game, I encourage you. That'd be a great game to go watch.
That'd be a place to be. Absolutely.
Next, we got Ider will be traveling over to Section. To me, this is one of the better matchups. I think they're very evenly matched. Ider comes in, tough loss to Sandrock last week. Section, of course, loses to Fife. But I feel like these two teams match up well.
Yeah. I've talked about Ider a lot and talked about Higdon like he's the only thing they've got. He's not.
No.
Now, they've got some nice athletic linemen, too.
Yeah.
They can hang in. Section's got, they may not have that many players, but the ones they got are ball players.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a really good
slobber
knocker, as you say.
I think you're exactly right. Looking at Ider, it really surprised me that their offensive line was as big as they were.
Yeah.
And Section, has some big players too. And of course, they've got Tanner Baker, and they've got the Caden Hicks, who is very good, and then the quarterback Ryan Gray.
Mm-hmm.
So all those are good athletes. And then again, we've talked about. I just went blank. Jacob Higdon for Ider, and then they've got the Hawkins kid who is very good for them. So that'll be a great, great football game, and to me that was one of the toughest picks on the sheet this week.
It was a tough pick this week.
Because I think that game can go either way, and I think the team with the fewest mistakes probably wins that football game.
I believe you'll be right. Yeah. If they don't make mistakes, fumbles, or stuff like that. That'll determine who wins it.
Yeah. Next, we got Brindley Mountain. They'll be traveling down to Geraldine. Brindley Mountain, struggling football program. Geraldine, of course, showed us exactly how they can really play. I think last week, they struggled a little bit in the first two football games and just wasn't that impressive, but they were very impressive against Plainview. And again, I know Plainview is a beat-up football team and struggling a little bit in themselves, but this Geraldine team, right now it looks like they may be the team to beat in Class 3A Region 8.
Looks like it's going to come down to them and Pisgah if everything, if they keep playing like they are, if everything goes like it is.
Yeah, that'll be should be an easy win for Geraldine this week. The one thing they can't do is after a big game last week, been a couple of years since they beat Plainview, you can't just take that game and get on a big high and forget about, hey, we've got to play this week.
A big letdown.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you never can tell.
Yeah. And our next game, we got Susan Moore be traveling up to Plainview. I still think this could be a very close football game.
It could be again, if something good happens for Plainview early. They got so many young kids, they need something good to happen. Plainview being at home for the first time is going to make a big difference.
That makes a big difference.
At home yet.
Yeah. The thing that worries you don't know Spagner. I know he was limping really bad on Sunday.
Yeah.
Don't know what's going to shake out there. So we'll see how that goes. But, if some of these players who got banged up last week can come back this week, I'm not, Plainview's got an opportunity to win this game.
Yeah.
And, man, nothing can help a football team more than getting a win.
The first win, that would be huge for Plainview.
Absolutely. And so that's going to be a good football game. I think it's going to be a more competitive game than most people think.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Fort Payne has to travel over to May Jimson, and I tell you what, that game, I don't know much about them. I know they were a 5A last or 6A.
Yeah, they were
5A last year.
And this is just their third year of football.
Yes.
And they got that coach one of the Coach Whites that went out played football at Alabama. Yeah. And he's done well there. I think he's like 16-7 in 2 years.
Yeah.
And they've played, they play those big Huntsville schools. They moved up from 5A to 6A this year. They won the region last year in 5A.
So that should be a competitive football game.
That should be.
Fort Payne, if they continue to play like they're playing, they got opportunity to win this game. You know, they're skilled people. They're as good as anybody in this area, I think.
I think they are too.
Yeah. Next, we got North Sun Mountain. They'll be traveling down to Asbury, and probably a good game for them after a tough football game last week. And you know, they should have the opportunity to probably get a lot of younger kids in that game and maybe rest their starters and get ready for the crunch down the line there. So we'll see how that goes. And then we got New Hope traveling to Pisgah. And I think Coach Luke Pruitt gets his third win this week.
I think he could too.
I think this Pisgah team, you know, probably is one of the surprise teams in the area, as they have just done a pretty good job.
They've done a good job so far all year.
Yeah. So we'll see how that shakes out. And then we got Auburn and LSU. I think that's a great, a great college game this week.
Right, and it's at Auburn.
Yeah.
You know, so that's going to be a good game.
And then you got Alabama traveling to Ole Miss. And
doesn't matter how good either one of them are. That's always a really good game.
Oh, yeah. Both of them can light the scoreboard up. Yeah. And that, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if that's not a very high-scoring football game.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. So there we have. We've talked a little bit about it. And now we're going to talk a little. We're going to run through really quick. I know we're running short of time here, but I cut the time back a little bit so we'd have a little bit more time. But we're going to go through the picks real quick here. So we got Valley Head at Faultville. Who are you picking in this one, Sammy?
Well, I'm picking Faultville because it's a long way over there. You know, Valley Head's got to travel, and I'm just going with Faultville.
Yeah, I'm picking Faultville too. I think the travel over, and just the fact that you know, they just don't have the depth, right now to compete. So I'm going with Faultville, but I hope they prove me wrong.
Yeah.
That'd be next, we got Sylvania traveling to Gaston. Who are you picking in this one?
Well, I'm taking Sylvania. It's at Gaston, but you know, if the Anderson kid can get rolling this week, Sylvania's got a chance to pick up a win here.
Yeah, I'm going with Sylvania. I think they got the opportunity to win this football game, and I'm impressed with the Anderson kid and how well he played after having to step in last week. Next, we got Douglas at Crossville.
Well, Crossville at home, they've got an opportunity here, and I think they'll take it. And I think they beat Douglas this week.
Yeah, I'm going with Crossville too. I think they get the win this week against this Douglas team. And then next we got the game of the week. As Fife will travel down to Collinsville. Who you got in this
Like
one?
we said earlier, I think Collinsville's got a good chance to win this game. But you know, until they beat Fife, I'm still sticking with Fife.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with Fife till they prove me wrong. I think this will be a great football game though. I think Collinsville has a chance to win it. If they keep it close going into the fourth quarter, don't be surprised if they don't win it.
That's true.
So we'll see how that goes. And then the next game, Eider at Section. Man,
well,
what a tough pick.
That one is so even with me that I just took Section because they were home. I think that's going to come down to, like we said earlier, if there's a turnover somewhere, that's who's going to win the game.
Yeah, I took Section for the exact same reason. I think the home team, home field advantage is probably the difference in that game, and we'll see how that shakes out. Of course, we got Brindley Mountain at Geraldine.
Yeah, that's just Geraldine.
Oh, yeah, I'm going with Geraldine. And then we got Susan Moore coming up to Plainview. Who are you picking in that one?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with Susan Moore. They've proven to me that they can win several games, and Plainview's still struggling. They're still real young. There's, like I say, Plainview has a few good things happen. They can get the upset here.
Oh yeah, I think they'll be very competitive in this football game. You worry about the injuries and just the fact that they're 0-3, and the players, the fans, nobody's used to that. To be honest with you, and I just think it's going to be a tough time for them. I'm going with Susan Moore, too. Next, we got Fort Payne traveling over to Huntsville. Who are you picking?
Well, my buddy down there is going to be happy with me because I picked against Fort Payne again. When I pick against Fort Payne, they win. Yeah. So I'm taking Mae Jemison. Like you say, Fort Payne stays healthy in this game. They can easily win this game.
Yeah. Todd, this is for you, buddy. I'm going Mae Jemison. So I know you told me the other night you hope we just keep picking against you, so I'm doing it just for you.
Yeah, I told him if anybody asked him, I was just doing this for motivation. I was picking against them.
That's exactly right. Got North Sun Mountain at Asbury.
North Sun Mountain, I think, will score a lot on them.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going North Sun Mountain. And then we got New Hope over at going up to Pisgah.
Yeah, I think Pisgah will be big over New Hope too.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And Pisgah goes to 3-0. Been a long time, probably since they've been 3-0.
Exactly.
And then we get into a couple of college games. You got LSU and Auburn. Who you picking?
That's gonna be a great game. And Auburn's at home, and Auburn's always lucky at home. I'm gonna stay with Auburn.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick the Tigers.
Yeah. I go with the Tigers too.
Yeah, I believe I'm gonna go with the Auburn Tigers. I think at home
right.
they'll be too tough for this LSU team. And then we got Alabama and Ole Miss.
Well, I'm gonna pick Alabama. On paper, they're supposed to beat Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Anything can happen once you get down there.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going with Alabama, but I think it'll be a high-scoring and crazy football game. So we'll see how it shakes out. Well, I know we're out of time. Man, another big week of football, some great games, and we hope you guys get out and go cheer on your team. And again, try to hopefully some of these teams will get some wins this week that we're not expecting, and we'll be excited about next week. But we appreciate you guys tuning in, and hope you'll come back and be with us again next week. And God bless each one of you, and we will see you again next week.
Hello, folks. This is Greg Anthony inviting you to come and visit the fastest growing dealership in North Alabama. It's called Anthony's Automotive. You'll love the way that you treat it. You'll love the selection. But most of all, you're going to love the low prices and the low payment, all located in Fort Payne, Alabama. And hey, in our service department, we only employ factory certified technicians. Then we service what we sell, and we inspect every vehicle 120 points prior to offering it for sale.
If it don't pass my inspection, it don't get our name on it.
And as always, I'll see you soon.
At First Southern State Bank in Rainsville, we excel within the walls of our bank and outside these walls too. We're actively working with area schools to improve classrooms and supporting area student athletes on fields and courts. We work and worship at most churches in the Rainsville community. We also work to enhance the lives of area seniors, thanking them for a lifetime of contributions. We're the bankers and corporate citizens at First Southern State Bank. True community banking.
Listen to some of Johnson's satisfied customers.
Everything exceeded our expectations. No one will ever work here other than Johnson. We give them an A+. The crew was awesome.
This is the third company that installed a unit in my house and the first that did it right.
Don't you want to know what type of person is working at your home? All of our employees must pass a background check and are subject to random drug testing. We won't send anyone to your home that we wouldn't trust in ours.
Call Johnson Heating and Cooling today, Alabama's largest and most awarded TVA dealer.
Hello, folks. This is Andy White down here at Bobby Ledbetter's Twin City in Fort Payne, Alabama. I want to invite everybody to come out to our new location. We're at 1411 Glen Boulevard, right where you turn to go on Airport Road. We've got plenty of inventory for you to choose from. I got cars, trucks, vans, sport utility vehicles of any make and model. Come down here and visit us. Let us see what we can do for you. If you got some slow credit, I've got some banks that'll take care of that. We've got great financing, got a great selection of cars. Y'all come down here and see us.
Don't take the first deal that comes along when you can do better at BobbyLedbetter.com and Twin City Used Car Sales, located at 1411 Glen Boulevard in South Fort Payne.
How do you show love? With the big things? The little things? The tough things? Your everything. Show them you care. Alpha Insurance.